teaching me to sing a song. Oh, I hope that I can maybe teach you all to sing songs someday too. Would you all like to say goodbye? Oh, goodbye, little one. Fly. Goodbye. Oh, I just love animals, don't you? Well, hello there. I am here to tell you all a story today. But before we start, I just wanted to let you know that if you are interested in any more stories or birthday messages or virtual parties from me or any of my friends, all you have to do is visit amazingfairytaleparties.com. And remember to put your notifications on so that you never miss a story time on Facebook or YouTube. Now, this story that I'm going to tell you today is about something that happened to me a little while ago. All stories start with some very magic words, don't they? Once upon a time. Can you say it with me? How about this? I'll count to 3. And on the count of 3, everybody say with me once upon a time. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Once upon a time, there was a kingdom that was ruled by a lovely king and a lovely queen. One day, the queen was sewing by her window, and she pricked her finger, and a little drop of blood fell on some beautiful snow that was on her windowsill. And she said, "Oh, how I would love to have a daughter, with lips as red as blood, skin as white as the snow, and hair as black as the ebony of my window pane." And guess what happened next? Why, I was born, of course. And I grew up very happy. One day, my mother was called to heaven, and so my father got remarried. And he married the most beautiful lady I'd ever seen. She was gorgeous. And she was going to be my new stepmother. I was so excited to be such a wonderful stepdaughter to her. Well, as years went by, it was time for my father to join my mother in heaven. And I was left all alone with my stepmother. She was not very happy about this, because she would always ask her magic mirror a very important question to her. She would say, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" And the mirror would always say, "Why, you, queen, of course, are the fairest of them all." And she would be very happy. She was very scared that one day the mirror might say that I was the fairest. So she dressed me up in rags and made me do all the castle work. I swept, I cleaned, I washed all the windows. You know, I actually had fun doing it, because I found out something very important. That if you just smile and sing as you go along, it makes any job fun, especially when you have little animal friends around with you to help. So I would sing every day, and my favorite place to sing was at the wishing well. Have you all ever made a wish in a wishing well before? Well, I made a wish, and I wished that I would find a very nice, very handsome prince that would take me away from my stepmother so that I could be free. And you know what? Next thing I knew, there was a prince standing next to me. He had heard me singing, and he had looked over the wall, and he had fallen in love with my voice, and just by how cheerful I was as I was cleaning. So I was very scared. I ran away because, you have to remember, I grew up in this castle very sheltered. I had never met a prince before. So I ran upstairs, and I hid behind a curtain so that he wouldn't see me. Oh, and he was singing to me, and it was beautiful. But you know what? Little did I know that my stepmother was up at one of the tower windows watching everything, and she was not happy that a prince was talking to me. Well, it got even worse one day, when she went to her magical mirror, and she said, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?" And this time the mirror said, "Although you are the fairest in this room, Snow White is the fairest of them all." She was definitely not happy. She called one of her servants to her, the hunter, and she asked the hunter to take me out into the forest and bring back my heart. Very scary. So I was out picking flowers one day, one of my very favorite things to do, and I noticed a little bluebird that had fallen out of its nest. Well, now what do you do if you see a bluebird that's fallen out of its nest? Well, you help it, of course. As I was helping the little baby bluebird up to its nest, I saw a shadow, and I turned around. It was the huntsman. And I said, "Oh, please, please don't hurt me." And he just couldn't. He was so kind. He didn't have the heart to hurt me. So he said, you must run as fast as you can so the queen doesn't hurt you." And I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to leave. I'd never been away from the castle before. But I ran as fast as I could into the woods, and it grew dark, and I was so scared, because when it's dark, sometimes our our imaginations play tricks on us, don't they? And as I was running through, I saw the trees, and the trees looked like they were reaching out for me. And there were all of these eyes glowing, and I thought they were monsters. They weren't monsters, I just thought they were. But I was so scared and so lonely that I fell down onto the ground and I just started crying. And the next thing I knew, I was being woken up. Do you know how I got woken up? A little bunny knows. I opened my eyes, and there were many, many forest creatures all around me. There were deer, and squirrels, and chipmunks, and turtles. Oh, I love all those creatures so much. And they saw that I was sad, and they wanted to cheer me up. And you know how they taught me? They reminded me that, of course, all you have to do is smile and sing a song. Oh, and I really felt quite happy then. But then I didn't know where to stay. So I asked my animal friends if they knew of anywhere in the forest that I might be able to stay and stay safe from the queen. And they took me through the forest, and they led me to a clearing in the woods. And in that clearing was the tiniest little house. It looked like a little dollhouse. And I went over, and I knocked on the door, but there was no answer. So me and my friends, we looked inside, and all I could see was there was a table set. And there were 7 tiny little chairs, 7 tiny little cups, and 7 little tiny spoons. So I pushed the door open, and I went in, and I said, "Hello? Is anybody home?" Again, no answer. And I looked, and I saw that their house was a mess. I thought maybe they're children who can't take care of themselves, and maybe they need some help. So I thought I would do something nice for them and clean their house and cook for them so that they had a nice warm meal whenever they did return home. So me and my animals cleaned the house. And when you have animals helping you clean, it definitely makes things go a lot faster. But after I cleaned and I cooked, I was so tired, I fell asleep. And where did I fall asleep? Well, there was a bedroom upstairs. And in that bedroom were 7 little beds. I couldn't fit in just one of them, so I stretched out across 3 and I fell asleep. And the next thing I know, exciting things are always happening to me when I wake up. I woke up this time, and there were 7 little faces peering over the bed. Oh, there were 7 dwarfs. And they were scared of me. They said, "How did you get in here? What are you? Who are you?" And I said, "Oh, I don't mean to scare you. My name is Snow White, and I'm running away from my stepmother, the queen, who wants to hurt me." And they knew all about my stepmother. And so they decided that they would be glad to help protect me for as long as I needed. And of course I offered to clean and cook and just brighten up their house for them so that they have a nice, warm, bright place to come home to every night. Well, that night, after we got to know each other a little bit and had some dinner, we spent the night singing and dancing and getting to know one another, and we really became the best of friends. Well, the next morning, it was time for the dwarves to go to work. And they worked at a very special place called a diamond mine. They would go into the mountains, and they would pick the rocks with hammers and pickaxes, and they would find beautiful diamonds. And they would send them all around the world so that everybody can enjoy sparkliness. I love sparkly things, don't you? Well, they all were going to leave, and I gave them all kisses goodbye. And they said, "Snow White, you know your stepmother is looking for you, so don't let anybody in. Even if you think it's the nicest person, don't trust them. It might be her in disguise." And I said, "That's a very good point. I will not let anybody in." And they also left all the forest animals, my friends, to stay with me and look after me during the day. Well, meanwhile, back at the castle, the hunter came home with a box, saying that it was full of my heart. He gave it to the queen, and she thanked him, and she went to her magic mirror just to make sure that it was my heart in the box. And she said, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And it said, "Queen, you are the fairest in this room, but Snow White, who's living at the dwarf's house in the woods, is far more fair than you." She was very angry. Luckily, the huntsman has run away by this time. I'm so glad he's safe. But she knew that she had to take care of this. So she went down into the dungeons where she had a secret laboratory that I didn't even know she had, where she would do potions. And she made a potion called a disguise spell. What it did was it turned the beautiful queen into an old, shriveled, mean old witch. And she also took a beautiful apple, and she dipped the apple into some poison. And that's the apple that she was going to give to me to make sure that I never woke up again, that she would be the fairest in the land. So she came to the cottage in the woods where she knew the dwarves lived. And she knocked on the door, and of course I said, I'm so sorry, I can't let anybody in. And she said, oh, please, I'm just a helpless old woman. I'm just trying to sell some apples so I can make some money. And I looked out the window, and I saw that she was just an innocent old woman. And I said, I'm so very sorry, I just can't let anybody in. And she said, well, how about this? You don't have to let me in. Just open your window, and I can give you one of my apples for free. And I thought, oh, it's such a beautiful apple, but no, I just couldn't possibly. She said, well, do you know, this apple is a very special wishing apple. Don't you have a wish you would like to come true? How did she know I loved making wishes so much? So, of course, I took the apple, and I held it, and I made a wish, and I took a bite, and before I could even swallow it, I fell down into a deep sleep. And the witch ran away. But when the animals saw that I was in trouble, they had run off to the mines to warn the dwarves to get them to come help me as fast as possible. So when they came back, they saw the witch running away into the forest and they chased her, and she was never seen again. When the dwarves came back to their cottage, they saw me laying on the ground, and they couldn't wake me up. And they were so sad to have lost their new friend. They didn't want to put me under the cold, dark ground. So they decided to make me a glass coffin so that they could always see me whenever they wanted. And so they put me in the coffin and they took me to the top of a hill. And they would stay with me all day long. They would sing to me. Them and the animals would just cry together and miss me. And one day, as they were all mourning me, they heard some singing in the distance. It was a prince, and not just any old prince. He was my prince. And he had been looking for me because he heard that I'd been missing from the castle and he was worried something bad had happened to me. And he had found me. Not the way he was hoping he would, though. He was so very sad. He asked the dwarfs if he could give me just one goodbye kiss. And they said, of course you can. So he lifted the coffin, he leant down, and he very gently kissed me. And as he kissed me, I woke up. It turns out there was some fine print in that potion that my stepmother made. It said, if you bite this apple, you will never wake again, unless true love's first kiss wakes you. And that's exactly what happened. My true love's first kiss. Do you know what happened next? We all lived happily ever after. Me, the dwarves, my prince, and of course my animal friends. Thank you so very much for listening to my story. I would love to hear all about your stories. And I would also love to come back and tell you some more stories. Oh, I have the biggest library with so many books. You know what my favorite stories to read and tell are? Stories about animals. Do you all like animals? Do you have any favorite animals you would like me to tell you a story about next time? Please, just let me know. Remember, you can always contact us at amazingfairytaleparties.com. We are on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything from us. Remember, if you'd like, you can always say hi to my very special friend, Princess Sarah Jane. I just know that she'd love to talk to you. I know she loves animals too. Stay safe, everybody. Take care of each other and love each other. Until we meet again, goodbye!